I'm just looking at you, right?
Yeah, then look at the camera.
Okay. Hi. Hi, I'm Melissa Allison. I'm 29 years old and I'm from Port Elizabeth. My story starts when I was born. I was born into a Christian home. My parents were very involved in the ministry. I gave my life to the Lord. I made the decision at the age of 12, and I was baptized at the age of 12. But yeah, like, I didn't really know him. I think I feel like I said it and I believed it, but I didn't have much accountability, and like I didn't have anybody to talk to about it, to walk it out with, I fell into a lot of hectic things from the age of 12. So I got involved with just like drinking, friends who indulged in like partying, and so I would say I'm Christian, but I'd be living in sin at the same time. I left to Johannesburg, or it was Cape Town at the time. I entered a TV show called High School Musical Spotlight South Africa, and I got voted out top 14. And when I did get voted out, I came back to PE from Cape Town. My mom said to me, I want you to pursue your career. And so I organized for you to go and live in Johannesburg with your auntie. And so within a week, I did not pack my bags. I just went to Johannesburg and I ended up pursuing my career in music. I got there, I phoned around, I didn't find anything. And then I got a call from the producers of the TV show. They called me and they said, we'd like you to be the understudy for Gabriella, or the alternate lead, so when she's sick, you go on. I basically toured South Africa and Asia for 3 years, and then I entered Idols, and I came second with Kaim Tetwa. And then the next year in 2013, I auditioned for Scandal. Yeah, so obviously it sounds all amazing and oh my word, you're on TV and everything, and you're mixing with the who's who, and yeah, it is, in that time, it was amazing. But I couldn't understand why things weren't just working out. So I started like getting involved in like just watching pornography and stuff, and I got addicted to that. So I would watch series and I would fast forward to like all the, that kind of parts and stuff. And then also just for like comfort and things, I would go partying and I would get drunk with my friends to the point where I'd black out, wouldn't know what's happening. The next day people tell me what I did and I'm just like, what? Like there was a point where someone drugged me in Asia, and it was in this place that just steal your organs. But by God's grace, my cast members were around me, and they basically saw something was happening and they took me home. In that, like, I saw that it was the Lord. So through all of this, I know that, I know God. I would speak to him, but I wouldn't wait for an answer. Yeah, and then I got involved with a woman in 2013. For about 2 years, we were dating, and I was convinced I was going to get married to her. I loved her, like with my everything. Like, I loved her. At this one point, we were just speaking about insemination and stuff, and my eyes were open, and as we're speaking, I just got this vision of me standing with my baby and my husband like behind me overlooking and like looking at the baby and stuff. And this was happening while my eyes were open and people were speaking around me, and I was just like, what is going on? And ever since then, something in me clicked, something changed. I was just switched off. I became cold towards her because I didn't feel anything towards her. I stayed with her because of sympathy. And when I did get out, it was the other extreme. I pursued men, fell back into like sexual immorality, and there was this power trip, like I could get anyone I wanted, and that happened for about a year. So during all this time, I kept hearing God give me a way out. While I'm sinning, I would feel his love, and I'm just like, okay, I have another option. I have another choice. I can actually get out of this. But then I would end up staying in it, and I'll be like, okay, later. So I would ignore him so many times when I feel him call me, and I could feel him pursuing me. I felt the Lord call me back to PE. I made the decision to move. And as I made the decision to move, I got involved with somebody, and he came down at some stage. The Lord told me to look at his phone in the morning. It revealed that he was a con artist, and I was involved with a con artist. And yeah, basically it was very dangerous, and I didn't know this. I got all the flags and everything. God was showing me things. I just ignored it. And I took him with me to church that evening. And when I got to church, I was just like, God, like, I can't believe this like happened. And I felt God's kindness. I felt him like literally cry with me, and I felt him grieving, and I felt that I grieved his heart. And I went to the front and I fell on the floor face down, and I was just like crying and asking God's forgiveness, and it was absolutely amazing. He went back to Johannesburg. It was a whole it was like an action movie that happened, plotting people at wherever to make sure he leaves, and he left. And since that Sunday, like, I felt like I needed to give my life to the Lord again. I repented of specific things, and as I was repenting, I felt deliverance. I felt God's, I just felt his like joy and his peace, and it was just incredible. And like, he was actually ridding me of all these hectic things that made me feel shame. And I was like, how can you even love me if I've done all these things? You know, I knew the truth, but I went against it, you know. I did a music video just before I moved to PE, and I felt him say, you're not going to release it. You need to like tell Scandal that you're not coming back. I want you to lay your life down. I want to be your provider. I want to be the one that you confide in, to find comfort in, all these things. I want to be that for you, and I need you to lay down your life. And the reason why I'm asking you this is because I don't want you to advance the enemy's kingdom. I want you to advance my kingdom, and I want you to use your gifts I've given you for my kingdom. And as I was doing that, as I was seeking him, I felt like I just felt so in love with him. I just wanted to get to know him so much more. And like, before, I knew the Lord, but now it's like I had an encounter with him. I was reading his word, and certain things that he says in there about coarse joking and whatever. And as I said, like, Lord, like, rid me of swearing, because I used to swear like a trooper. And that day, that afternoon, I spoke to someone, they were swearing, and it was as if something was shooting at me. Like, I felt like, no, like, what is this? And someone actually said to me, it's like the Holy Spirit reacting in you, and you're a completely different person. And since that day, like, I didn't have to look for work. Whereas before, it would be putting yourself out there, creating a brand that's not even you, to please people. Now God is going to do the work. And as I was seeking him, getting into his word, like reading in the Bible, and, you know, trying to get to know this, you know, Jesus that I now have given my life over to, he just started giving me work out of nowhere. And so he became my provider and everything. And now I see what it means when you seek the Lord and all his kingdom and all its righteousness, not just his kingdom, but his righteousness and right standing with the Lord and pleasing him. Now I see like the fruit, like I see just how he's working in my life. I just have a thought and like things happen. I was homeless for like 4 years, basically sleeping on people's couches, and now I have my own home. It had nothing in my home, people furnished it. I've spent years trying to build this life. What I've been saved into is way, way better. Laying down my life completely, sacrificing everything when it's so scary, because it worked for you. It was giving you everything you wanted. It was feeding everything. It was hard. It was difficult. But that sacrifice has just shown me that actually God knows better than me. And he's got plans that like I can't even think of or imagine. I wish I had the words to explain actually how real God is, and how he is a God of his word. He doesn't lie. And when you take him by his word, you'll see, you'll feel, you'll experience freedom in so many different ways. Press into him and you will see. And also what I want to say is that it actually shows you your identity, because you lose your identity trying to find it in this world. You lose it when you try and find it in the world. But when you come into the truth, where Jesus actually, he really is the truth and the life, you will see.